Chapter 11 of Nicholas, a Manhattan Christmas Story by Carroll Moore. This LibriVox recording is in the public domain. Nicholas at Bronx Park. The day after Christmas, Nicholas spread out his map on the floor and exclaimed,
"I'm going to the zoo today. I can't wait any longer to see all the birds and animals out there."
"It's a fine day for snowballing,"
said the troll, looking out into Chelsea Square.
"The snow is just right for snowballs. I'd like a good snowball fight with the brown bears. They are old friends of mine. Would you like to have me go along with you, Nicholas?"
"I'd rather go to Bronx Park with you, old giant, than with anybody I've ever seen,"
exclaimed Nicholas. The troll, you know, could turn into a brown bear whenever he felt like it, and Nicholas had seen him do it.
"How far is it to Bronx Park?"
asked Nicholas.
"They call it 11 miles from the city hall to the reptile house,"
the troll replied as he climbed down from the Christmas tree.
"You'd better bring your snowshoes along. I intend to take shortcuts."
So Nicholas strapped his snowshoes on his back, and in no time at all he and the troll were playing a game of cross-tag round the Hall of Fame on their way to Bronx Park.
"Why, it isn't a hall at all,"
exclaimed Nicholas.
"It's a kind of gallery with the wind blowing through."
"That's what I like about it,"
said the troll.
"It's such a fine airy place and very few people in it. We haven't time to see who's there today, for I want to get to Bronx Park before the bears have had their lunch. They're always too sleepy to play afterwards."
So the troll took the shortest cut he knew from the Hall of Fame to the Fordham entrance of the Zoological Park. On they hurried past the Lion House, the Elephant House, and the Monkey House until they came to the bear dens in the rocks. The brown bears were out in front of their dens playing in the snow. As soon as the big brown bear saw the troll coming, he stood on his hind legs and laughed. Then he stooped down, scooped up a lot of snow in his forepaws, stood up on his hind legs again, and threw it at his brother, who was staring with all his might at Nicholas on his snowshoes.
"Wake up, brother!"
he shouted.
"The old man of the Doverfield is coming. Why didn't you come up Christmas Eve?"
he called to the troll.
"We had a splendid party in our forest. All the outside animals came."
"I was policing Brownie's big party for Nicholas,"
the troll called back.
"and it didn't break up till cockcrow. The library lions put Brownie up to it. Nicholas had them roaring before he had been in the city an hour."
"Where's Nicholas now?"
asked the little brown bear, who had been hiding behind one of the big ones.
"Here I am,"
said Nicholas.
"Don't you know me, little bear? I'm Nicholas."
"Who's Nicholas?
Where did he come
from?"
roared the two big bears.
"Speak up, Nicholas, and tell them why you came,"
said the troll. But before Nicholas had time to tell who he was and why he came, the troll had turned into a brown bear and was scooping up snowballs as fast as he could. He had a glorious snowball fight with the two big bears, while Nicholas and the little bear stood by and cheered. At last the two big bears were completely winded and laid down to rest before lunch. But the troll said his blood was only just beginning to circulate, and he would like a run through the forest before lunch.
"Take off your snowshoes and jump on my back, Nicholas, and I'll show you some American wonders,"
he said. So Nicholas took off his snowshoes and hopped on the troll's back, and off he trotted on all fours to the buffalo range.
"There's the old king of the western plains, Nicholas. He always looks lonesome and sad, and no wonder. He lost all his rights when they built the big railroad across the country. I never know just what to say to a buffalo, but I wouldn't dream of coming to Bronx Park without paying my respects. It's the least a fellow can do,"
said the old troll, and on he trotted to the elk range by way of Mountain Sheep Hill.
"Look up there on the skyline, Nicholas. That's Audad climbing up to the highest rock to show off. He's seen us coming and wants us to stop and watch him. That old Barbary sheep is as vain as a peacock. I have lots of fun with him sometimes, but we haven't time to stop today."
At the elk range, the troll slackened his pace.
"There goes young woodland caribou on his snowshoes."
He called out.
"He's from Maine, and so is Big Moose. It's a nice bit of forest they live in. There's a lake in it. Look sharp, Nicholas. There's somebody else behind those silver birch trees."
I see reindeer.
Shouted Nicholas.
There goes another reindeer and another 4 of them, old giant.
"There's a nice little gazelle in here,"
said the troll, opening the door of the deer's house.
"You've just time to whisper in her ear that you'll come again another day. Be quick about it."
But Nicholas was so enchanted with the lovely little gazelle, and whispered so many messages in both her ears, that the troll called out quite sternly,
"Come, come, Nicholas, I'm hungry."
From the hilltop above the deer's house came the sound of jolly laughter and scurrying feet, and as Nicholas ran up the hill after the old troll, he suddenly found himself standing on the edge of the strangest little village he had ever seen. Just in front of him, at the door of his house, sat a plump little fellow who was laughing away at Nicholas as hard as ever he could.
Who is he, old giant?
Asked Nicholas.
"The mayor of Prairie Dog Village,"
replied the troll.
"Did you ever see a jollier lot of folks? Every one of them makes his own house."
I've never seen anything like those houses,
said Nicholas.
They look like little mounds. They must be warm and cozy inside. What funny little tails they have, old giant. I'd like to stay here all day.
And then Nicholas looked at the mayor again and laughed, and the mayor laughed back at him. And before they left Prairie Dog Village, he had counted 50 little prairie dogs laughing back at their mayor as they sat at the doors of their houses.
"Hop on my back again,"
said the troll.
"For I'm starving."
And as he trotted off across the park, they could still hear the prairie dogs laughing, 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 just the way they do far out on the western prairies. Nicholas and the troll were hungry as hunters. They ate a very large luncheon, and afterward the troll rocked Nicholas on the big rocking stone, and they sat watching the raccoon tree, where lots of raccoons were taking naps after their own lunch.
"Coons are very particular,"
said the troll.
"They won't eat a thing until after they've washed it."
I'd like to see the beavers working,
said Nicholas.
That was a fine exhibition they had at Brownie's party.
"They never work when anybody is looking on,"
said the troll.
"I've stood here by the hour, but I've never seen them do a single thing. They think of more interesting things to do than any other animals I know, and they keep at a job until it's finished. They must work about every night to get so much done. Now, otters don't work so hard. I've seen them shoot the chutes for an hour at a time after they've rigged up the kind of slide they like." "How would you like to ride Gunther, Nicholas? Gunther's the giant tortoise over there by the reptile house. Nobody knows how old he is. He's slow-moving, but it's a good place to think of things, you'll find, when you get on his back."
I'd love to ride a tortoise,
said Nicholas.
I've had lots of rides on elephants and camels, but I've never seen a tortoise big enough to ride.
No sooner did Nicholas hop on the tortoise's back than he saw what a good place it would be to draw a picture of the mayor of Prairie Dog Village before he forgot how a prairie dog looks. So Nicholas took a sheet of paper out of his pocket and began to draw. The troll stumped off to the bear dens, and the next thing Nicholas knew, a wolf was leaning over his shoulder to see whose picture he was drawing.
"That fellow isn't worth making a picture of,"
said the wolf.
"He isn't even a real dog. Come over to our dens. You'll see some real animals."
I'm coming to see you and the foxes, too,
said Nicholas.
But it takes time to get around. This fellow can do something you can't. He can laugh and set all his friends laughing.
The wolf scowled and skulked back to his den. Just then an eagle swooped down, and hovering over the tortoise, she shrieked,
"You're keeping everybody waiting at the birdhouse. They sent me to fetch you right away."
Don't shriek at me like that,
said Nicholas.
I never feel like doing things when people shriek at me. I'll come with you as soon as I finish making this picture. I wouldn't go home without seeing all the birds for anything.
So the eagle calmed down and waited for Nicholas to finish his sketch, and then he hopped on her back, and off she flew with him to the big birdhouse.
"It's most sundown and closing time,"
said the troll, who was waiting for Nicholas outside the birdhouse.
"We'll go home by the Boston Post Road. It runs through Bronx Park. Hop on my back, Nicholas, and hold fast, for I'm feeling very lively, and I'm likely to take all the big rocks on the high jump. That's what I love about this park, the big rocks and the old forest. It's all natural and homelike for the animals. Steady now, Nicholas. Hold on tight."
It's more fun going home than it was coming up, old giant,
shouted Nicholas as the troll leaped over the last rock and trotted out of the park down the Boston Road.
How far does this road go?
"All the way to Chatham Square,"
replied the troll.
"but I'll take a crosstown cut to Chelsea just below Kips Bay."
End of chapter 11.